It is indeed an honor and privilege to have as decorated a person as Professor CNR Rao in our midst. May I request you, sir, to kindly address the gathering.
Reverend Satish Timothy Paul, Professor Zakaria, other important members of this wonderful school, graduating class, ladies and gentlemen. I am very happy to be here. I have known of the reputation of the school. Many of my friends have studied here, but I didn't have the opportunity to do the study here in my life. Well, I would like to say a few words before I say something in general about science and India to the graduating class. Do not forget to dream big. Please dream big. It is said that if the dreams don't come true, it is disappointing. But not to dream is a tragedy. You must dream. And not only that, you must also learn to climb mountains. People said, somebody asked a mountaineer, why do you climb mountains? Because he said, there are mountains. There are many mountains to climb, and I wish you great success in climbing the mountains in this world. India today is a very complex country, very difficult in many ways, but it also has tremendous opportunities. It is a land of opportunities for those who use them. It is also a land with great difficulties for those who don't use the opportunities. I think the training in this school should enable you to use the tremendous opportunities we have. What do you mean by opportunities? India is going to be a crowded country in another 10 years, more crowded than today. But what is interesting is, it also offers opportunities to do many things. For example, in education, in energy, in water management, in management of environment. So we need more and more educated people, more and more good managers to handle the situations in India. These challenges are immense. They are not challenges of this country alone, they are challenges of the entire world. But in addition to such challenges, man himself has created many challenges. Let me give you one very crude example. Everybody was so happy when we chemists discovered plastics. Look at what plastic has created. It has created the biggest environmental hazard in Bangalore. We were very happy that we scientists created wonderful drugs, penicillin, a number of antibiotics. What has happened? I don't know whether you know that. Most of the antibiotics today no longer work with patients. They have tremendous drug resistance. The future problem of mankind is closely associated with solving problems which are so difficult. In fact, how do we find a drug that will work for any disease? Most diseases can no longer be treated with the available antibiotics, available medicine, because the bacterial resistance and a number of other challenges we have. So these are all man-made challenges. Let me give you an example of a man-made challenge. I remember when President Clinton was President of the United States, the entire internet came, mobiles came, and people went to President Clinton and said, the future is all electronic. There'll be no use for paper. Everybody will use electronic media. But what has actually happened? The use of paper has multiplied by several times after the electronic era. Today, there's more use of paper than before we got the internet or anything else. So it's a very interesting world we are into. So each one of them requires a solution. I don't want to go on talking about challenges, but I did so only point out that there are many interesting things to do for those who want to do things. Let me tell you a few words about myself. I was born in Bangalore 82 years ago. Well, those days were simple. Bangalore was a very easy city to live in, not so crowded. Everybody walked in Bangalore. There were very few buses. In fact, most people, if they had a vehicle, would have a bicycle and nothing more. But what was interesting was, though I went to a school, not a very famous school like Bishop Cotton School, but we had wonderful teachers. I will never forget my teachers in the school. It is after my school, the quality of teaching came down. The best teachers I had were in my school. It was after the school, somehow people taught, well, most of them not so enthusiastically. But anyway, forgetting that, those days were interesting because we didn't know what was going to happen to India. Just as I finished my school, India got freedom. My God, everybody was excited in Bangalore. We didn't know what India would look like, but what India would do to solve the various problems in 1947. However, India has come out in various ways. We have many institutions today. We have built all kinds of facilities. But of course, we can always say nothing is enough because India is such a big country with so many people. But India has done many things. But it has very unbelievable challenges today. I don't know whether you know that. Though we have done many things, the competition in the world has increased so much in the last 5 to 10 years. Let me tell you what I mean by competition. If you take Asia alone, the competition India faces with China is unbelievable. China, for every one paper India publishes, China publishes roughly 50 papers. If every one scientist India has, China has about 50 to 100 scientists. The number of scientists and engineers produced in China today is the largest in the world, higher than United States. They produce 23,000 PhDs per year. It's unbelievable. India, we produce about 8,000 PhDs. I don't think we should worry about the numbers. Numbers are not important. What I'm more worried about is the quality of science and quality of engineering and quality of our effort, national effort. The quality of our efforts in every sphere is below par. We have to improve the quality of our maintenance, quality of our research, quality of our innovation, everything. And that is where the future of India is. That is where you young people have to decide never to do anything that is mediocre. Mediocrity is left behind, and you must do something that is worth doing. In fact, sometimes I get very depressed, even though I'm 82, I have tried my best. When I started research in Bangalore, after I came back from the United States, we had no facilities. This was roughly 57 years ago. 1959, I came back from the United States. I was 25 years old, hardly any facilities in Indian society. Well, slowly I started building little instruments, little equipment, struggling. So I had this poverty culture in my scientific career for the last 15, 20 years. Slowly things improved. I went to IIT Kanpur, where I was a young professor at the age of 29 or 30. We built a fantastic department there. Slight improvement in facilities. It was only in the last 20 years of my career. Of the last 57, I have a fantastic lab. The laboratory now I have in Bangalore is as good as the best in the world. You don't have to go to Cambridge or MIT. You can do work in my laboratory. So it has taken me a lot. The reason I'm telling you this is you have to keep on trying. It is only those who try that are favored by God Almighty. Those who do not try, God will ignore. I think we have to keep on trying in every sphere of life, whether it is a spiritual life, whether it is scientific life, any other life, you have to keep trying. So please do not forget that. And in all these moments when I had to undergo tremendous depression sometimes, not depression, mental depression, slightly depressed about what is going to happen to the future. How will I succeed? How will I make the grade? How will I become known for my work in the world? Well, I used to always get excited by looking at the lives of great men like Faraday. Faraday has been my great hero. I hope you all know that. The greatest scientist that the world has ever produced is Michael Faraday. Nobody can beat his record. He died in 19th century. He came from a very poor Christian family. He had not enough money. He quit school after 3 years. He didn't go to high school. He didn't go to any school. But with that, he started working in a bookbinder shop. He was an assistant to a bookbinder. Then slowly started learning about science by reading here and there some books that came to the bookbinder. But fortunately for him, he got an opportunity to attend 3 lectures in chemistry by the greatest chemist of that time in London, Sir Humphrey Davy. That somehow electrified him, and he got a job as an attender in Davy's laboratory. So Faraday's career started as a laboratory attender in Davy's lab. But what happened then? You see, he started working in the laboratory, helping Davy with his research, then started doing his own research. Then eventually, he became much greater than Davy himself. Today, his record in science is so great. The number of things he did, of course, all of you will remember Faraday's laws of electrolysis. That is in every school. But that is only one thing, that he would have got a Nobel Prize for that. He is the one who discovered benzene. He would have got a Nobel Prize for that. He discovered electricity, you see. Unbelievable. When he discovered electricity, the Minister of Finance in England went and asked him, what is the use of your research? He said, sir, one day you will tax it, he said. And that is what has happened. The kind of things Faraday did is something unbelievable. He wrote 450 research papers single-handedly. See, those days he had no students, associates. Single-handedly, he did all these things. And he succeeded in becoming the greatest man, you know. And also, what is interesting about Faraday, with all his greatness, he was a very simple man with great humility. That is one reason I mentioned Faraday today. A very God-fearing person, very, very humble, great humility. The greatness you achieve in your profession, greatness you will achieve in society must go along with humility in personal life. It is only then you make the grade in this world. Unfortunately, we have not learned that. Many of us think that because we have big positions, we can do whatever we want, say whatever we want, but that is not on. I'll never forget, Michael Faraday was offered the knighthood by Queen Victoria. Queen Victoria said, dear Mr. Faraday, I would like you to be knighted. Of course, he would have become Sir Michael Faraday. He wrote back, dear Queen, thank you so much for this honor. I'm an ordinary person. Let me be ordinary Michael Faraday. Thank you very much. He didn't accept it. He was such a man, and we had such a man in this world. The reason I'm giving you this example is to see the kind of stories we should remember in everyday life to get excited, good, inspired, so that we carry on. Don't forget some of the greatest names I know in science, some of the greatest people who have accomplished things which are very difficult, all came from very poor families. So don't ever worry, you are not a rich man, that you are ignored. No, this society, what you face today, is everything you see in society is temporary. You can make your grade by your own will, by your own determination. Your background, the money you have in the bank will not determine your future. I can say this definitely as far as I am concerned. There are many such examples of Faraday. I don't want to go on giving these lecture today, but except to say, for young people today, for the graduating class, I would like to say, walk firmly to the future. The future is assured for you. If you are not sure of what you are doing, then I cannot say what will happen. I wish you tremendous future. As far as I am concerned, as far as India is concerned, I start saying them, does India have a future? I am a believer in India's future, otherwise I wouldn't be here. I can be a professor in England or America, everywhere. But I have said it, I have decided to work here. I've been a professor here for 57 years. I'm still doing research. I publish more than most of the young people even today. I will not give up. The reason is, I am convinced that India, if we do the right investment, we have the right encouragement, nothing can stop us being in the top 3 nations of the world in the next 10 to 15 years. I hope we will become one of the top 3 or 5 nations in science, one of the top 3 or 5 nations in economy, and so on. I really feel that we have every chance to reach greatness. Well, a thing that all of us should remember, particularly the graduating class, we often forget that we are all children of one God, and we all have a place in this world and in this universe. Don't ever forget. We all have equal rights in this world, and I'm sure God Almighty will take care of us. I wish this school a great future. It has done very well. It should do better. It can do even better. Why is it I'm saying that? I come from a school in University of California in Berkeley, where the department was built in 1946 by a very great chemist called G.N. Lewis, one of the greatest chemists the 20th century had known. You know, he built a department starting in 1946. Well, I was in school at that time in Bangalore. You know, what has happened is, that department built in 1946, even today is the #1 department in chemistry in the world after so many years. How can one build a department which is #1 in the world, which for posterity almost, for years? Obviously, we can do that. We must build schools, we must build departments which will go on with being of high quality for a very long time. I wish Bishop Cotton School a great future, and a great future wherein it becomes one of the greatest schools in the world. Thank you.